Almost a century ago, the fate of millions of people in Southern Africa was destined for change. Their lives were to be focused on higher goals. Their vision was to be lifted from the mundane earthly plane to ideals more lofty. Theirs was to be a transformation still rooted in their land, yet reaching out to the heavens, marked by the phenomenal annual pilgrimage, the Shembe Walk to God.
God, through His mercy, decided to send Prophet Isaiah Shembe to come to this part of the world to convert Africans from the way of life they were living, which was not approved by God then. When he came here, the founder of the church, around about 1910, African people at the time, it was killing people, taking Kekli, winning land, they were not working. Their men were warriors. Their job was to fight for tribes, for clan, for whatever you can call it. That was their responsibility.
Obaba ngesikhathi uShembe efika babebuswa ngamakhosi beviviswa ke khona ke behlabelela umfundiso wayebahlabelelisa phambili waye ethi kukhale ekseni induku yethu zithi insizwa lapha siyakhona siyofa siyakhona lapha siyakhona siyofa siyakhona uShembe wathi wo nithini kuyekeleni lokho ozani lapha.
So Shembe said, bring your sticks, bring your shield, bring your traditional attire, but use them to worship God. Bring your drums, bring all those things, but you'll use them here to worship God.
Stories of the extraordinary deeds of the prophet Isaiah Shembe began to spread among the African people. He was one of them in appearance. He spoke in their language. He dressed and ate like them too. Yet, with the miracles, began an ever-increasing following that held him in awe.
Wayesethi uShembe lethani lapha lezi imbogo. Wathatha yena umese wayinqinda imbogo lokhu ucicha ngoba kwakuhlatshwa ngakho umuntu.
That's why today we are using these sticks, we are using the shield, we are using traditional attire, he never changed anything, but he said we must use those things for peace, not for wars.
We carry sticks. These sticks, which are staff, we call them bogos. And these bogos were used during Shaga for stepping, for killing. And then Shaga will count the number of people he has killed. But with this stick, we count the number of people we have healed. Because we use the bogo stick to pray to people, to pray so that people become healed. So Shembe, heroism to him was healing. Heroism was peacemaking.
At the beginning of every new year, the world of the Shembe is filled with religious fervor. Early in January, thousands of the Amma Nazareth as they are called, converge onto the Inanda Valley, just north of Durban, for one of the most spectacular pilgrimages ever to be seen in the Southern Hemisphere. Snaking their way out of Durban's suburbia, almost 150,000 Shembe followers head into KwaZulu-Natal's picturesque rural hinterland, leaving behind the trappings of modern life in a demonstration of their cultural heritage and faith.
Uhamba phansi kusuka lapho esisuka khona ilo ngakhula kufundiswa ubaba ongizalayo ukuthi uma ufuna ukuphila kuleli bandla nokuba ube insizwa kuleli bandla uzoba indoda enhle ufunala kuleli bandla lamaNazaretha ulandele yonke imigomo nemithetho yakhona ebeka uShembe.
Intaba lena iyangijabulisa kakhulu empilweni yami ngoba ubaba wami owaqala ukuya kule ntaba ngase ngifundiswa ubaba ke elandela umprofeti uShembe. Umprofeti uShembe wenza isifungo no baba bethu. Ugqozi lwami ke lokuya entabeni ke lulapha kulesa sivumelano samanje. Ngiyajabule njalo uma kuyisikhathi sokuya kule ntaba ngoba ngiyengazi ukuthi ngikhumbula uNkulunkulu, ngikhumbula ubaba wami ongizalayo bene umama.
The walk becomes an amazing outer display of an inner resolve when the followers of Prophet Isaiah Shembe embark on their 70-kilometer-long journey to the holy mountain, Mhlangakazi. For the Shembe people, the sky is the roof of their temple and the African savanna the floor. Worship is through nature, and during special ceremonies, many congregations come together, forming a church that stretches from horizon to horizon in their headquarters in Inanda.
Shembe faith is a way of life. The founder of this church requested us to live according to his teachings.
La kuthi ungamfiseli okuba umakhelwana wakho ungakucabangi ukukhipha umphefumulo womunye umuntu imiyalezo kaShembe leyo abantu abaningi sebekulalelile lokho.
We are following the Old Testament, 10 commandments. 10 commandments are very critical. Actually, 10 commandments, they can make this world a better place, a very peaceful place.
Since Isaiah Shembe in the early 1900s, the lineage of the Shembe leaders have consistently preached peace, guiding their people on a spiritual path based on the 10 commandments that God gave to the founder on the holy mountain.
Mina ngiyancenga amaNazaretha ngegama lenkosi uJehova. Ningazenzi lukhuni inhliziyo zenu. Ningabi njengokhokho benu. Okhokho bethu abazenza lukhuni nje. Namhla sesithwele izono zabo. Lalelani izwi likaJehova.
The core values of the Nazareth Baptist Church, one is respect, two, trust, honesty, and worshipping the Almighty.
All of the teachings from the church and the scripture can be seen in practice during the Holy Walk. The Amanazareta walk exposed to the elements, all barefoot and with no umbrellas, and no closed head cover, for the males are allowed during this penance. With the tarmac searing under the scorching KwaZulu-Natal sun, the teachings of tolerance, forbearance, courage, and sacrifice come tested to the fore. Life's journey is not always smooth, and between birth and death, there are many burdens to overcome. In seeking solace, man has historically resorted to prayer to lighten his load. A stone carried on the head symbolizes this weight, and the prayer that follows demonstrates God's readiness to receive man's burden and send him lighter along on his way.
This is part of our worshiping. Now we're at the other place where we take the stone and put it on top of the head. Then it drop here. It's a sign of respecting our leader and God.
This was first demonstrated by Isaiah Shembe almost 100 years ago, and the exact spot of the ritual is faithfully observed during the pilgrimage today.
kusho isifungo salubuNazaretha umqali wendlela owenza isivivano njengoba nasemandulo sasi khona isivivano sokuthi umuntu mayihamba uhambo olude hayi olungelude olude kuye kubekwe isivivana samatshe sokuthi wedlula ngonyaka othile la ubeka itshe lelitshe liyabhalwa ngokwasezulwini nakho kwasemhlabeni futhi liyabhalwa lelitshe ukuthi usibani wedlula lapha ngoba nakho lapho wafika wabeka khona incwadi engapheli leyo ongeke uzuyicime futhi.
The hallmark of the Shembe people is undoubtedly their discipline, and this stems from the strict code of conduct set down by the founder. In all activities of the church, males and females are kept separate. In the walk as well, there is a distinct etiquette observed to prevent temptation. The sacred ark of the covenant is carried by the temple's priests who lead the way. They are followed by the older men, young men, then the young ladies, and then the older women right at the end.
Ya lokhu namhlanje sohamba 3 days sihamba silala sizokala eLokhuzeni esibukweni sisuke esibukweni siye eLokhuzeni siye eHomesi la ukuthi kaSimamane khona sisuka lapho ke kulo 3 days sesiye eNhlangakazi. Yes.
As part of their ongoing religious education, 3 spiritual camps are held monthly. Ladies are expected to attend regularly on the 13th of every month, followed by the 22nd for the men and then the 24th for young maidens.
Every month,
year in, year out, year in, year out. That's where the schooling and the education and also the clarification of the rules and everything in the church takes place.
Lathi izwe khona njengoba kukhona amaklasi nje iklasi yabandoda leyo u23 eyamakhosazana u25 eyamakhosikazi u14.
We teach them how to behave themselves, especially the kids. We are trying to motivate them that they cannot have an affair with a man before she gets married to that particular person. And ourselves as men were taught to respect our families and respect the communities.
In order to inspire their people, especially the impressionable youth growing up in dynamically changing and challenging times, the Shembe leaders have had to always be role models of courage and personal sacrifice.
Shembe live a simple life. As we are coming to the mountain here, he will be suffering with us on the mountain. He's going to put a tent on the mountain and stay there with people. The food they eat, he will be eating that food. Here in Shembe Church, there's no one who's better than another person. There are rich people, there are poor people, there are educated people. You can't see the difference. That is the way Shembe teaches us.
Once you pronounce that you now want to join the NBC, the Nazareth Baptist Church, the first thing you have to do, you buy a white robe and then you go for baptism.
An intriguing phenomenon of the Shembe is the huge similarity of religious practice to that of the Semitic Judaism and Christianity. While the Sabbath is strictly observed on a Saturday, similar to the Jewish people, the practice of baptism is as important to the Shembe as it is to Christians. The cleansing by water is symbolic of a spiritual cleansing and washes people of their original sinful state. They enter into a covenant with God to relinquish errant past actions, thus allowing them a chance to a life of service through God. The act of total immersion is a symbol of purification, a symbol of surrender, and a symbol of a new life as an Amanazarete.
We baptized about 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people every Sunday. It was not like this during the time of Isaiah Shembe. There were few people then. But now the church has grown in such a way that we don't even know how many people are here. People are converting to the church.
You must remember, this church started from nothing. There were no committee, no university professors or religious experts who told him how he must run this church. So these are the work of God and Shembe. Shembe is not chosen by human being. He's anointed by God.
leli banda selisabalele liqale ngokusabalala la eSwazini, Swaziland, lawela la eMozambique, la hamba liselibuwa liseGauteng yonke, eLesotho, Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, naphesheya kwezilwandle eCalifornia likhona leli banda lafika khona, nakwa-Israel seliyile lafika khona, eJordan kade simi khona sithunywe khona, sawafica amaNazaretha khona. Alo leli banda egqoke ingubo ezimhlophe kanje. Izolo besisendiya nakhona safika abakhona begqoke ezimhlophe kanje bekhuluma indaba kaShembe, sase sithola ukuthi leli banda selisabalele kakhulu umhlaba wonke.
Leli bandla likhulisa ukuthi umqalo walo akayibumbelanga njengento yokuzakhela ibhizinisi, wathunywa umprofession, wathunywa uNkulunkulu. Konke lokho kubonayo lokuba likhule kangaka ngoba uNkulunkulu ofuna leli bandla lakhe. Zonke izizwe ilindele ukuthi alike elinye ibandla futhi badinga uyababiza nabuShembe bonke noma ngabe uhlobo luni beze kuleli bandla likaShembe.
The biblical practices, the temple teachings, and the values they inspire are reflected in the walk of the Shembe. There's an astounding sense of love and unity flowing along the streaming pilgrims. Pain yields to the peace of promise, and the hardship relents to humility before the prophet. Clothed in the green of Africa, the spirit of Isaiah Shembe courses through the white apparels of his people, echoing the virtues of peace, of purity, and of parity.
Shembe is the way. Shembe is great.
The pilgrims on the annual walk come from many churches dotted throughout southern Africa. The Holy Temple is marked by a simple ring of white stones within which two services are observed every Saturday, one at 9 a.m. and another at 2 p.m. Communion is achieved through reverence for nature, and this ethos is observed in all their worldly endeavors as well. Most of the older people especially live their lives in this traditional way, earthed in the land of their forefathers and striving for the virtues of the Torah. Their homesteads blend in harmony with the environment and their hearts are set on the divine. Traditional families demonstrate a rich bonding with a vision that's not trapped in temporary material things, but focused firmly on the solid eternal truth of God.
It started with my grandfather. And when it started, he was all alone, nobody to turn to. he had to go to this mountain that we are going to. He was going to that mountain alone, having been sent by the word of God. He came to him without, he couldn't see him, but he could hear him talking. Go to Mount Hlangakazi, and that is where you'll meet me, and that is where I'll be giving you instructions.
uShembe lo owasho wathi uzawuba uthi awube khona olapha wathunywa khona eNhlangakazi wayelala yedwa lapho kulonda ehlane emahlathini eNhlangakazi ephathe inkopho lamanzi yedwa.
It was infested with animals, wild animals. But when he got there, he got a cave that he got into, a cave which couldn't be reached by those wild animals.
He spent 14 days here. That's where he interacted with God direct. And then God told him how to form this church. You see this robe I'm wearing? That's where he was told by God what robe this church should wear. The dance we do, the singing, the songs, they were coming in different times, but there are songs which came whilst he was on this mountain.
Wamnika ukuthi leli bandla uzolibhabhadisa emanzini. Wayesemnika ukuthi leli bandla liyoqoka ingubo emhlophe. Wayesemnika ukuthi uma egcoba abefundisi bawufaka ingubo emhlophe ngaphansi, ngaphezulu bese begqoka lemjiva le. Wayesemnika ukuthi kuyosinwa phe kwalentaba enhlangano. Wayeseyisho imgidi ukuthi iyoba mngaka. Wayesemnika nemthandazo wasekuseni nomthandazo wokulala nenkonzo yeSabatha. Wayesemnika ukuthi uma beganana laba bantwana baleli bandla bayoganana kanjani bayoshadiswa kanjani ngoba laba bantwana baleli bandla omama bethu bashada uShembe umprofeti bashadisa ngetshe phekwetshe.
Isaiah Shembe amalgamated the Zulu traditional customs into the new church that was evolving, based on his Holy Communion on Mount Hlangakazi. Thus, although strong elements of Zulu culture remain, this was tempered by teachings from the Torah. This is especially true of the important ceremonies like weddings, for example. Traditionally, among the Shembe people, this takes place simultaneously for many couples who have fulfilled the doctrine of the church. Marriage is a sacred covenant and can only be sanctified by the leaders in the church.
Izwi lithini lithi ehlahleni hambe ucela ngomthetho intombazana inkosazana uyicele ngomthetho hambe ngomthetho ungahlobongi futhi ubuhlobonga kuyicala icele ngomthetho ingene ngomthetho ubuhlobonga kuyicala.
So when you get married, there is a set down order or a set down rule. You make your choice among the ladies. Once you've made your choice, you follow the customs of the land.
Khale ntombazana zoshada nayo ukuvuma kwenhliziyo nangothando olungakhononiyo sho kahle mfana uyamthanda umkakhe ngeqiniso lami.
African traditions merge with contemporary values through the dignity afforded by the Shembe Church. The strength and passion of the people become sublimated into worship. Outer battles fall away to battles of the spirit. War becomes a walk that builds steadfastness, fights temptation, and conquers inner frailties and weaknesses.
uhambo lwaseNhlangazi lubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi thina amaNazaretha ngoba luyimvuselelo yemvelaphi yenkolo yethu ukuthi inkolo yethu ivele kuhluphekene ngakanani ngoba umqali walolu hambo wayehamba zonke lendlela esihambayo yena wayehamba yedwa. So luyinto enkulu kakhulu ke kithi ngoba uma siluhamba sisuke sikhumbula yena.
At about midday of the second day of walking, the Amanazareta take a well-deserved break. The beauty of the surrounding hills becomes host to the almost 150,000 pilgrims. Some resting, some catching up with friends, fueling up for the reminder of the torturous trip. The local community see this stopover as an excellent business opportunity. Impromptu shops spring up, bustling to serve every whim of the pilgrim. Fruit, snacks, juices, and even freshly cooked food are sold. In keeping with the times, airtime and paraphernalia for cell phones are sold, allowing those on the walk to catch up with loved ones at home. But even here in the rest camp, every step they take reminds them of the long journey ahead to Mount Mhlangakazi, where they will pray for another 14 days. When these masses of humanity finally leave their camp, there is a sensitivity to nature that can be observed. Just like the 55 kilometers already traveled, not a hint of this massive exodus will be visible. The earth returns to its pristine beauty, almost as if a spirit passed by.
Utomi umlungu ongibuzayo lapha lesasilungisa na indlela seNhlangazi awungizwe ngibone ephepheni ngibone negama lakho.
Throughout the history of the Nazareth Baptist Church, contemporary customs have been consistently absorbed into the rituals of worship, provided that the strict adherences to the principles of God's prophecy were not compromised. This has resulted in the church playing an important role in reflecting the traditions of the past.
Babanika ukuthi bawumkhonza uNkulunkulu befaka amabheshu wakhuluma ukuthi mkhonzeni ninjengoba ninjalo imncwadweni wemakhosikazi enu afaka izidwaba.
The unmarried, that is the ladies, dress differently from the married wives. You cannot go to her and woo her because the dress code speaks for itself. So the different dress codes also, I would say, make it visible so that people do not fall into temptation of adultery as well as fornication. We'll find that the ladies do not have anything on their head. And the married women have got what is called inkehlo on their head. Or they've got what is called amaduku. You can't see their hair.
When it comes to dancing, you will find that we have got so many costumes apart from traditional costume for dancing. These traditional costumes for dancing were meant for us, but there are other sort of European costumes which are intended for those people who are not Zulu. You'll find that we wear amabheshu and all that, but there are what we call scotches. We are saying it is wrong to say that simply because you belong to a particular religion, then everybody that belongs to that religion must follow that culture of the founder. You see, so Shembe provided for all that type of thing.
During colonial 19th century South Africa, the dress of the time was also absorbed into the culture of the Amanazareta. The Scottish kilts and bobby hats still feature in their traditional dances. The Vuvuzela horn also has its roots here, being a blend of British and African sound. Although it speaks of another era, the timeless truths of the Torah are stringently followed, complemented with the indigenous values of the Zulu culture.
akhululeke umuntu ayikho into ekuthiwa izoza likho ayikho into ekuthiwa usihogo kasikho.
So he told Shembe to observe the seventh day as a day of rest. The day of worship was Sunday until 1923, January. The Creator told him, now we have to revert to Saturday. And he asked why. And his creators told him that during creation, from the first day up to the sixth day, the Creator created all and he rested on the seventh day. Saturday starts at sunset on Friday and it will end at sunset on Saturday.
The thing that we do on Friday is to have our clothes properly washed, our bodies properly washed. Then at that time you say you are ritually clean. You are not going to have any sex, you are not going to do any work. It's just a time for service.
Ungaphuza utshwala, ungawubhemi ugwayi. Imithetho eyanika uNkulunkulu eyinika uJesu yathi akayinikeze zonke izizwe eyihola. Imfihlo yesonto umthetho esubekele uShembe ukuthi uma uyindoda yase-Afrika uphila nokudla esikubekele uShembe ukuthi asidle ukudla okunjani. Ukudla lokho okuyizicofucofu kunalamafutha akhona okhukhweni kodwa singakudli. Sidla amasi, sidla inkobe, sidla imfino, sidla amadumbe, sidla ubhatata kuleli bandla. Ukudla nokwesizulu ikhona okwenza ukuthi la madoda ahlale nomthetho wokuthandana ukuhloniphana.
Our first laws are the biblical laws, the Torah. So everything which is set in the Torah to be not pure or to be eaten by a Nazarite, it will not be eaten by a Nazarite.
While KwaZulu-Natal may have the highest percentage of HIV-positive people in the world, the strict code of conduct of the Shembe people, their high moral standards, and, they say, God's covenant with Isaiah Shembe has contributed to the Nazareth Baptist Church claiming to be 97% free of the AIDS scourge.
There are these diseases, HIV. You'll find that here at Shembe is very, very minimal. We don't have it. Especially, let me tell you straight, there's about 97% of them. We don't have it because we are taught the right thing. Those are our spiritual teachings as priests, to teach them that they must abscond from doing such things. He cannot have an affair, he cannot sleep with a woman before he marries. If he does that, he is punished.
Kuleli bandla lezinto zibalayo nalezifo lezi ezikhona omashaphoqa azikho kuleli bandla ngoba uShembe umthetho ubekile ensizweni yaleli bandla nasentombini yaleli bandla nasendodeni yaleli bandla ukuthi manigcina lokhu nalokhu nalokhu niganana nigcina lolu mthetho ningakwenziwe lokhu ngeke zenivelele lezifo ngeke kunehlele konke lokho kudla.
From its inception, the Shembe Church has been associated with stories of miracle cures and healing. This has been its formative foundation and the pillar for its phenomenal growth today.
In his prayers, he asks God to look after the sick as well. So now you find that the sick people find courage and they walk, even if it's hot, even if it's raining, there are all kinds of weather. At times it rains and at times it's this hot. At times it's hotter than this. But they walk because they've got that belief that they are going to get healed and that they will reach their destination.
Even today, people come here in wheelchairs, come in being disabled, some they can't talk. Those who are like when Shembe pray for them, they walk, they talk. It happens today. Those miracles are still happening today. That's why this congregation is growing the way it is growing.
Ngisemncane ngicabanga ngangina 12 years 12 to 13 mina ebantwaneni bakama base behambile emhlabeni babe u7 kushuthi ngangizoba unumber 8 ebantwaneni bakhe wayizoba ngcwaba kodwa phezulu kunjalo wathi angingabi nawe wena uzoba ungoka 8 engizokungcwaba akekho wadla umuthi uNkulunkulu aShembe efuna ukukuthatha ngalendlela yenyoka ngicela ukuthathe ungawudlili umuthi kodwa uNkulunkulu kaShembe ethanda wena uzophila ngoba uShembe wasithembisa ukuthi inyoka ngeke zibuye zibe namandla zibabulala abantu.
Mina lo ngangigula kakhulu inwele lezi ezintsha zakho ukuthi uzaphela zinya umkhuhlane kodwa ovuvatha ngathwala ngisuka kuyena mangifika kuyena ekuphakameni wasuka wathatha ifulawa elele ukuthi ayilozisi wathi angihogele lona alihogele ifulawa wathi umntanami usosindile inkosi ekubusise ngasinda ngalelo langa uzoba namhlanje wathi uzodoswa ngesikhumba kusho ubhombela qalwe endlela.
Our forefathers and our parents and our grandmothers and our sisters, they made a vow that every year they'll go to this mountain. Hence, if we are a member of this church, we have not touched this mountain, we have never walked this pilgrimage, we are not yet a confirmed member of this church.
The founding principles of the Nazareth Baptist Church rest in the sacred covenant between God and the prophet Isaiah Shembe, as reflected in the 10 Commandments given on Mount Mhlangakazi. The sacred vessels borne throughout the 3-day walk by the senior priests together constitute this Holy of Holies, the Ark of the Covenant. Rigorous spiritual cleansing, extreme discipline, and intense penance alone can qualify the bearers to be in its contact. Its status makes it the focus of the walk. There is always a sacred radius observed wherever it passes or wherever it is placed. For the purposes of the pilgrimage, this holy sacrament is brought back once every year to a secret cave on the holy mountain, reachable not by path, nor by any animal, but only by the purity and the blessings of the Creator. The holy cave where God Himself spoke to man.
Sikhambe kahle yonke indlela sikhambe kahle uNkulunkulu wasinika neumbrella sihamba kahle sasazofika lentabeni yaseNhlanga sesifikile ke manje sesibeke nezimbali phezulu senza wonke nje umsebenzi kaNkulunkulu okumele siwenze.
Amen. This mountain is blessed. Shembe is the God.
Ngiyabonga uNkulunkulu kaShembe ukuthi ngize ngifike kule ntaba senhlangakazi bengigcinile nabakithi abadala inkosi ezombusisa. Amen.
Ngiyabonga uNkulunkulu kaShembe ungigcinile ngaze ngafika lapha enhlangakazi intaba senhlangakazi. Ngiyabonga ukuphila nokuthi ngigcine ngikwazi ukufika lapha ukukhuluma ukubhekana inkosi ezombusisa.
Kumnandi. Mnandi ukuhamba phansi. Akukhathazi nje nokukhathaza. Sesihamba indlela engaka senhlangakazi. Emnandi.
Very glad to be here on this mountain because my forefathers they are with me. While I'm dying, I will see them due to this God, Shembe.
The only mountain that is blessed for Africans. We're proud of this. So it's a superb for us. No one can take it out of us. We're here for it.
Three days of relentless perseverance. 3 days of courageous discipline. 3 days of barefooted endurance. The 3-day annual pilgrimage to Mount Nhlangakazi may be over, but for many of the pilgrims, this marks just the beginning of another 14 days of communion on the holy mountain. A time of fasting, a time of prayer with their leader, a time that carries them through the year ahead until next year's Shembe walk to God.